Hello and welcome back to the Open Resorcery. So today I have a very special guest, BenignFool, someone I actually worked with for a very long time and am working with again, and we had fantastic conversations. And so I brought him in to speak. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. Not used to doing the podcast thing, so this will be fun for me. Like Devi said, I am BenignFool. Um, we kind of bonded at work, and it expanded through the use of discussions through theology, mysticism, things like that. And what sparked this was actually an off-the-cuff conversation that we had, where a topic got brought up, and you had this light bulb go off. So I'm a little excited to see where your notes take you, where my notes take us, and hopefully see where the community goes with this as well.
Heck yes. I don't even remember what that conversation was. Oh
We
gosh.
mentioned it was something along the lines of happenstances viewed as coincidence, and then that led to said topic. Because I think you, or I think it was you, you made a comment like, "Oh, that's such and such," and then you just kind of looked at me. And I was like, "Okay, cool. What like, like I'm supposed to be shocked by that statement? Come on, whatever." And then it
Possibly, because
just we
I
went
just.
from there.
That's right. That's right. Because at at work, we're very careful. I'm just like, do I spill the beans? Do I spill the beans that I'm a witch? Do I
Nope.
make those references? Do I do the thing?
Everyone at work knows I'm already crazy. So whatever cup they want to put my crazy into, whatever, I'll go with it. But
Fair. It works. Okay, so main topic for today is UPG, SPG, VPG, and of course, imposter syndrome.
the big one,
The big
the
one.
elephant in the room.
Yes, the big old Ganesha. Um, which definitely still have the pocket neshing. I'm literally looking at it right now. Fantastic.
That's dope. I'm glad that you held on to that.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're gonna go through what they are first, and then we're gonna kind of backtrack. So SPG, shared personal gnosis, right? So something that happens between multiple people and it's a shared experience, so you can verify it's like, no, I'm not crazy, you experience that too. Just like people hearing like a haunting of some sort and they all hear the sound and they're just like, nope, I'm not nuts, that
Yeah.
happened, okay.
Yep.
So the last part of that, the G, I do want to kind of go into that before we run into the others. um Gnosis in and of itself, so it is a Greek word. It is a Greek word for knowledge. But in Gnosticism, which we have spoken about many times on the channel, I do believe, or if we haven't spoken about it on the channel that thus far, we have had so many conversations between just myself and Twisted and Lono and just all around going back and forth. Um, but in Gnosticism, Gnosis takes on a different form as well, where it is more so humanity's knowledge that they are in fact divine, that they hold the divine spark, rather than seeing the divine outside of themselves. And so I think Gnosis, through those lenses, where you have it from the intelligence lens of, oh, it's just the mind, it's knowledge in and of itself, or no, it is us recognizing that we are divine, on the inside, versus looking without for divinity. Um, I think that's really important in all three of these categories. What do you think?
I think a lot of it touches on really well that the a lot of gnosis and hearing it phrased in that way does make a lot of sense. The first thought that came into my head though about it is my questioning as to why you hear about the term gnosis more with, for lack of a better term, alternative theologies. And what I mean by that is polytheism, uh, paganism, things like that. But you don't hear it so much in the monotheistic religions. And I want to go down that well, but I feel that would more or less be a topic for another time because I think there's some research involved in that. But I did like your definition that you, or the example rather, that you gave of SPG, the shared personal gnosis. It's funny you used spirits in that realm because the follow up that I did earlier, just to kind of refresh my brain for this, I caught a video and the SPG example they used was a rising sun. That one person sees the sun, they see it go from east to west, and they see that consistently. And they get other people to see it goes from east to west. They all discuss it, and that's when
Hmm.
it became a shared. I like the fact that you incorporate it with the spirituality. It makes a lot more sense as far as
It does.
the definition of our UPG, SPG, PPG.
Oh, absolutely. And with that, you know, things that are concrete and scientific, I don't necessarily put into gnosis. Now, is spirituality and science, I do believe that they are more interconnected than a lot of people want to admit, because
Yeah,
they're I'll put it this way: magic and witchcraft is science that science can't prove yet.
yeah. I mean, that's the same basic way you look at it, regardless. I mean, we look back millennia ago. I mean, go as far as Galileo. I mean, he proved more or less that stars behaved certain ways, the
Hmm.
plants behaved certain ways, and they chastised him because of it. I mean, oh, there was a movie. Oh, I can't think of the movie now. We talked about it. It said 500 years ago we thought the Earth was the center of the universe. Oh, Men in Black actually.
Hmm.
It's 500 years ago we thought the Earth was the center of the universe. 50 years ago we realized we're not alone on this planet in 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It You get chastised for these things. I do want to back up just a hair.
Go for it.
We discussed SPG. I do want to touch on UPG, which is
Yes.
unverified personal gnosis, because that's where the difference between UPG and SPG come in. Hence why Devi and I use the examples that we did of the sun rising or the interactions with the spirits. One person experiences it, they believe this, that is UPG. They share that experience. Oh, hey, I saw the same thing. I felt the same touch from this otherworldly figure. That's SPG. I did want to touch on that just because I know we're getting to SPG and all that, but I
Hmm.
definitely want to make sure whoever's listening
Oh, absolutely,
definitely knew
absolutely.
that for sure.
Yes. So UPG is going to be unverified personal gnosis. And this is something like you have experienced it yourself. Like, if we go back to the ghost topic, and where I'm sitting there and I'm hearing something in my house, and I'm just like, okay, what the fuck was that? Like, I will put the example the other day. Tensions were really high in the house, emotions were like boiling over, and I looked over into the hallway, and people on my channel know, and you know very well, I am a psychic. This is what I do. I see shit all the time. This is part of my lived experience on this earth. I looked over and I actually saw a visage of a man just leaning against the wall in my front hallway. And so I sat there for a second, and all I could think of is, I need cedar, I need lavender, and I need fire. I am getting this fucker out of my house. We are not doing this. And then my oldest daughter came up to me at that same moment, and she was facing me, but her peripheral was actually right there. And I asked her, I said, okay, we're going to start smudging the house. We are smoking this thing out. We are getting rid of it. And she goes, you saw him too?
Oh wow.
And so I'm like, ah, there we go.
So
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 we go
there
from
is your
UPG
first
to
hand. Yeah.
SPG near
Wow.
immediacy.
That's interesting. Wow. I find that your solution to that situation is much more prep work and um, practice in it. Mine's a lot quicker solution for seeing a random male in my hallway. Mine starts with Smith and ends with Wesson.
Yeah, except the way that I saw it, I knew that this wasn't a person. This was
Yeah,
not a
no.
human being. But yes, I totally
Yeah.
agree with that. And we are very much in Texas, and we love our Second Amendment. Um, but no, this one's more so,
Yeah. Oh
there
no, absolutely.
the the emotions boiling over attracted something that was not fantastic. and that was going to try and feed further and like inflame everything further. So it's like, you know what?
I was gonna say
We're not
because
doing
my,
this.
my my initial thought of it was I wanted to know what your feeling from that was because this is where and it's funny that we were going from UPG to SPG in this regard because one of the topics is the scrutiny that gets brought up or the
Mm-hmm.
criticism, for lack of a better word, when you describe UPG and SPG to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So my first thought was, what was that feeling? Why do you think that individual is there? And it's funny that both you and your eldest had the same thought of, that's a problem. It needs to go.
Well, that also, so I am a very open individual. And because of how I operate,
Yeah.
I run completely on instinct. My intuition, my instinct is completely animal and it tells me exactly what to do. So think of that as I saw it, alarm bells went off in my head. I felt
Yeah.
terrible. Um, like every feeling that I get typically travels through the diaphragm. So, like, right at the top of the stomach where the solar plexus is,
Mm,
that is where all of my intuition feelings and body feelings come through at first
mm,
before they disperse throughout the body to kind of like tell the story, um, so to speak. And so that's where it was just like this huge rock just emerged
yeah.
in my stomach, and it's just like,
And
that's not
that was
right.
that, like, yeah, that's that whole sixth sense thing, and you
Mhm.
knew whatever it was, regardless of it being there, you knew there was an issue and you had to appropriate. So that's, I mean, that's interesting in that regard with the criticism.
Oh, absolutely. And technically, we can go into imposter syndrome on that one. But I do
Oh,
want to
for
hit
sure.
verified personal gnosis
Oh, absolutely,
first.
absolutely.
So that's VPG. So it's verified.
Hmm.
This is going the traditional route. And honestly, this I have a big problem with because people are so strict to, but the Bible says this, or the myths say that, and it's only that, it can only ever be that. And it's just like, these beings have been around since the dawn of time.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think they are so immovable, inchangeable, and just stagnant? Why is that a thing?
I, I think it's more. I think it's why that you mentioned. Oh, the Bible says this. This says that. I am currently less than 3 feet away from my bookshelf,
Mhm.
and on my bookshelf I have two books centered around Norse mythology. I, by trade, am a Norse polytheist, and one of which is Snorri Sturluson's The Prose Edda.
Mhm.
The other one is Norse mythologies, both of which describe Thor as being a large, strong individual with fiery red hair and fiery red beard and immense strength. But only one of them states that he does not walk upon Bifrost because it will melt, because he's fire.
Mhm.
Now, wait a minute now. um, huh? There's a problem there.
God of
So
Thunder.
a lot of these teachings are lost in translation. Maybe that's the problem people are having with it. Because we're talking, I mean, most of the Nor and again I speak from the Norse end of it, date back to 10,000 BCE
Oh yeah.
before Christian expanse. So we're talking about dead languages. We're talking about stories that have since been lost to time. Most of these civilizations were established before there was a written
A
word
written
in
language, so it
however
was oral
sense.
tradition.
It
Absolutely.
was all oral. And if anybody who's ever been in third grade playing the telephone game knows how quickly things can get off kilter.
Oh, absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
just,
Things get
I,
expanded, things get minimized, and it just, you go from
yep,
the thing was the size of a mouse to, oh my God, that thing was huge. It was like a
yep,
giraffe.
yep. We were talking about, I mean, it's also, even with certain religious texts, you have to take things into open context.
Mhm.
There is context related in it. Um, we were talking about in the other Discord channel about what the theory of Ragnarok actually is. Do you actually think the gods are going to fight themselves? Not likely, because it's counterintuitive to their behaviors as is. But maybe it is something else entwined into that. So a
Absolutely.
lot of it's context. But I think VPG, I think, is as close to a harmony that we can get between science and faith.
Yes, and that I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. I think a lot of it is taken with entirely too much rigidity
Yeah.
because it is not allowing change to happen. And yes, these beings have been around for a long time, and we can go into like the thought of, they're god forms because they were originally thought forms and so many people believed in them and then they came to be and things like that. And we can technically, like, we can argue that, and that they stay stagnant only because they are only from that section of thought, right?
hmm
No, I don't believe that.
I just, I think the argument between science and religion or science and theology is when you get to that VPG level
Hmm.
of argument, I think it ultimately ends up being an agree to disagree situation because we as theists have the thought of, okay, Ymir was slain, they took his skull, they put it up on the sky, and then they used embers and created stars.
Hmm.
That's what we feel.
Oh heck
But,
yeah! And I mean, you can
but,
take like the Native American story of
yeah,
the black
we've
man
gone to
who burned the
space.
stars and everything like that. Yes.
Yeah, we've gone to space. I didn't see any skulls up there, did you? I didn't. You
I
know,
mean, in constellations, possibly. I don't know all the
possibly.
constellations.
I think a lot of it, the argument with VPG falls under just sheer explanation, and that's where science and faith come into play. We had to
Hmm.
have explanations for something. I need crops. Please give me crops. Hey, look, crops. And there's your VPG because all of a sudden he does it, he does it, he does it. Ah, they did it. Okay,
They
there's
did it,
your
and
VPG.
crops were produced. Yes.
And it had nothing to do with the fact that you tried planting corn in winter versus spring. I
Well,
mean,
that's where we go into scientific method
yeah, and
and
that's where a
yes.
lot of this argument falls apart, and that's why for anybody listening, if you do have instances of UPG or SPG, don't be afraid to voice them, but do understand you are subject to scrutiny and criticism. My experience could be different than yours.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean we don't have a similar effect, but I see a crow or a raven, and I think, wow, that's a beautiful bird. Another person next to me go, ah, Odin is watching over me. Yeah, maybe, but
Yeah, and I
he
see a
doesn't have
flock
to
of
be a
them at a
bird.
house. I'm sitting there going, someone's going to die.
Yeah, doesn't have to be a bird. He could have been that old man that I passed by on the street. It could have been that guy right over there who
Absolutely.
says it's not, But your UPG moments, the biggest thing I would say for those trying to experience UPG is two things. One, don't be discouraged if you don't have a UPG moment. It's okay.
Hmm.
That'll fall into the imposter syndrome when we get into that.
Oh, absolutely.
The other end of it is it's okay if you're not sure how to interpret. And if somebody says, "Oh no, that's just happenstance," okay, that's you're welcome to think that. Okay, a long time ago, someone thought the Earth was flat too. About 2 weeks ago, because we still have flat Earthers here. But the point is,
I literally just had a discussion about flat Earth today.
the point is, if you're gonna have these, don't let other people push you away from what you felt. It was your connection to the divine. You
Absolutely.
felt it. There are some that like you hear and you're like, okay, come on, you're just trying to justify some stuff. But
Hmm.
there are others where it's no, this is a sign, a symbol. It doesn't have to be big. Nobody needs a giant flashing beacon with strobe lights and a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man thing. No,
Yes.
you just need a simple hey friend. Hey. And that's it. That's all you need.
No, you just brought up a memory and it. Oh, god damn it. Oh my god.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. That's
Okay.
what I do.
Okay. No. So, whenever I was first dating my now ex husband,
Hmm
um, oh, I was spending the night at his house, and
Okay.
his house was by a creek that was constantly flowing. And if you know water, you know that water attracts spirits, and spirits like to kind of go with the flow of water. There was
Okay. It
something
usually
in this
attracts me to go to
house.
the bathroom, but okay.
There was something in this house. And I remember laying there trying to go to sleep, just about to drift off, and I hear this like thing right in my ear. And I'm just like, oh my God. My skin just like started crawling. I about like crawled the wall. Just no. It it actually pissed me off. Because even though I have experiences when things jump out at me like that in that manner, I'm not here for it. Chicken shit Devi is activated. Like
Spoiler alert, everyone. You come to find out later, it was actually his roommate under the bed.
oh, 100%. No, he was living at his parents' house. So no, definitely
Okay,
not.
so maybe Dad had a creepy moment. Okay, whatever. Who's your little friend, son?
Oh God, I snorted. Jesus Christ. Oh fuck.
Comes out with a bathrobe and a coffee cup full of bourbon. Hi.
Please no. God, please no. No,
That's a mental image for everyone.
oh, that's perfect mental imagery, but no, because I could feel that thing just literally sitting on
Yeah.
the other side of the bed, and he had an experience in that particular room as well where it was like a little trickster, like an imp or like something like that. It was very much not actually harmful, but like to
No
play,
malice, just mischief.
just
Yeah.
mischief.
We've
He
had a
was
we've had
reading
a few of
it.
those.
He was reading it
Well,
at
that's your
3 o'clock in the
problem.
morning.
That's your
There
problem.
was no
Everyone
airflow. There
knows.
was no airflow. There was nothing to do it. And his closet just starts.
See, that's the problem. Everyone knows at 3 a.m. the only Stephen King you need to be reading is Carrie. Come on, people. This is textbook. Okay, if you don't have Carrie, you can get away with Christine. That's a acceptable substitute. But come on.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. No, but because of that experience, and there had been multiple things that happened in that house,
Yeah.
my theory, my UPG in that home was okay, because there is flowing water right next to it, and I know that
Hmm.
water attracts spirits pretty easily. These are transient little critters that just be like, "Oh, this house is open. Let's play."
Oh yeah. For sure. For sure. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, you've shared multiple UPG now. I think I'm feeling a little left out here.
Do it. Do it. Sure.
I'm
I
feeling a
want to
little
hear
left out.
it.
So we can go one of two routes. I'll let you being the host. I'll let you choose. We can go the spiritual route of much like reading it at 3 in the morning, or we can go my first and only religious experience.
I would love to know your religious experience, honestly.
Okay. All right. So there's a little build up to this. So I've spent lots of time in my life exploring different theologies and religions. I've spent some time in Christianity, various forms of it, be it Methodist, Baptist, Catholic, unfortunately. Not to diss anybody who's Catholic, just there's a lot of rules, and I don't like rules. Um, I did some time as Buddhist, I did some time as Taoist, I did a lot. So I've always had that curiosity.
Hmm.
So somebody asked me a question about the Norse gods. So I did a little research to find the connection, and I said, okay, cool, no big deal. I let it go. Another person brought up a question, like 6 months later, about the Norse gods and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What did they get right? What did they get wrong? I knew some, but of course, being one to learn, I went and did a deep dive. Both instances, I kept coming across the same videos, and they were by some wonderful individuals. If you are interested in seeing them, I will pass the word on to you, and you can do ad revenue for them, whatever. But they're I kept watching their stuff. And I made the decision, okay, I'm going this route for nothing else to learn. So we do in that Discord channel, they do ritual night every now and then. Not all the time, just every now and then. And I was having a weird mental moment. And for those of you listening, I'm sorry for the long, boring story. Drink some coffee, you'll be fine. We're almost to the good part, I promise. And they were praising, they were doing a ritual to Thor and Frigg um, for mental health and protection and strength. And it was an instance in which I needed it. You know, I needed that kind of bolster, you know what I mean, in my
Yeah.
life. So I had the house to myself. So I post up in this office, the same one I'm sitting in right now, and I turn on the ritual. And they don't record rituals, like that's actually for like against the rules in the Discord. But every now and then the host of the Discord will record it for people later on, which is what he did. And I'm sitting here watching it, I'm following along, and I'm doing the typical things that I've done in the past. Close my eyes, I got my candle, I got an offering, yada yada yada. So, all right, here's the money shot. Here's where the good stuff comes in.
Money shot. God damn it.
I gotta get it back interesting again. So I get to the point. It's probably about 2, 3 in the afternoon, and I close my eyes. I just start going through the ritual. I start, repeating back and forth. And this is where it goes crazy. In a flash, I mean, in a flash, my eyes are closed. I can now see myself sitting in the chair. And I look over and in the door, and all of a sudden, no sooner am I away, like I'm over in the side wall of the room looking at myself, then I'm right back into myself, but I'm standing in the center of the room and I look over in the door frame and I see a large figure with thick bushy hair, thick beard, and I can tell this individual is impossibly large. Like, if it makes any sense, imagine like a 10, 12, 14 foot tall figure, but like scaled in a weird way. Like, proportionately, it would make sense if he was 12 feet tall.
Yes. Got you.
But they're standing there, like with their arms crossed, just kind of leaning in my doorway. And they have this long fur lined cloak thing. And not a lot of features in the face. It's very, but you can tell they have a beard, long flowy hair, big muscles, and they have this cloak. And boom, gone. Instant. We're talking maybe 3 seconds for all of this. I remember the room being very cold, unseasonably cold for that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, I felt warm from the top of my shoulders, around my core, and down my legs. And it just kept me warm, almost as if being draped with a cloak.
Nice.
They moved from the Thor part into Frigg or Frigga, and they're talking about her love and her serenity and how she's here to guide you and protect you and help you get through it. And in the moment, same thing, eyes closed, going through the ritual, I felt something on my shoulder. Nothing heavy, very soft, light touch, but something very small in stature. Almost like, I don't know, a female's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Felt it, and it went away. This is where the true sink in for me was. We're just like, okay, yeah, we're doing this. In for a penny, in for everything.
And for a penny,
Ritual
and for a
ends.
pound, absolutely.
Ritual ends, and I open my eyes back up, and I have my offerings still there, and I am very emotional. I'm not a very emotional person, and there are tears on my face, and I have no idea why.
Because for the first time in your life, you felt seen by divinity.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Oh, I just touched that. Yes.
And I'm not
Oh,
gonna lie, just like anybody on here who's shooting for UPG, I am chasing that like a drug.
don't chase it.
It's
Let it happen to
yeah,
you.
I know, I know.
Cuz
It was it
it's
was
so
just
hard
such
when you have those moments. It's
yeah,
so hard because you're just like, I want to feel that again. That made me
yeah.
feel alive. That made me feel worth it. That made me feel seen. That made me feel
I just want to see who that
good.
was because of the arms crossed my brain immediately went to Thor as my patron, which I view him as my patron. Could have been given what was going on in my life. It could have been Tyr. Could have been Odin. Could have been Balder. It could have been. There's a list. And it's like I want to see you again. I need to know. You know what I mean? But I'll let them. They'll show up when they want to.
Absolutely. And
So.
from what I'm feeling, and this is just
Oh yeah.
like me as a friend
Oh yeah.
being your
No.
psychic
Let it
friend,
fly.
that
Let
absolutely
it
is
fly.
Thor.
Oh yeah.
100% that is Thor. And very much masculine self-love
Yeah. It
and
was.
also
It
kind of like
was.
raising you out of like okay, uh, how do I put this in English? I my brain works in pictures, so I have to literally translate it from images in my
It's
head.
good. I'm an idiot. I work well with pictures too. It's okay.
But it's literally like I see him like dragging you from the bottom of the ocean and lifting you out.
I can believe that. You
That's
see, okay, wow, that's interesting because that's where UPG starts getting into some weird points because you say that as a good thing, pulling me out of darkness and muck, right?
mm-hmm.
My first thought was his battle with Jormungandr, where he's removing the evil, and it's that's weird. It's like if he's dragging me out, is he pulling me from the evil, or is he pulling me out as the evil? So it's weird. It's weird. Uh, how you gave that visualization.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
again,
that would be pulling
UPG,
you from it.
hey.
Evil
Yeah.
or negativity or anything. Think of that as like this
Oh yeah.
gigantic sphere of tar. It is a giant sphere of tar, and that he's just ripping you out of it. It's just like, nope,
And
you're not getting fed to that today.
yeah, and it was just funny that in that instant, my brain went to that. Am I the evil? They pulling from me evil. But that's where those of you that are listening to this, where you might run into that criticism, people just getting that knee jerk reaction. Oh, maybe it's this. Feel what you want. If you felt like this is this, and I do feel that he was pulling me out of a dark mental state. I do feel that
Mm-hmm.
because I think I'm not the most mentally stable person, but I'm feeling better,
Mm-hmm.
better than I was then. You
Oh,
know?
absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, I think this also goes into the imposter syndrome
Oh yeah.
because you and I, we deal with this a lot
Mm-hmm.
where it's just like if somebody decides to praise us, we're just like, nope, that can't be me.
Yep.
Nope.
I just had that conversation with
I
Trishayla. I just had that conversation.
I believe it. I believe it. Um but even like when my boss was sitting there and he was about to praise me, I just sat there. I was like, I didn't do it. I I didn't do it. And
Oh,
he's just like, no, you're doing really good. And I'm just like,
yep,
okay,
yep,
I didn't do it. Like,
yep. The first thing I say when they call me, we're like, benign. I'm like, whatever it is, I didn't do it. Unless it's good, then I meant to do it from the start. Just,
but with these experiences, because they can be so diverse and personalized, because these energies are interacting with you in a way that you understand, where like you
mm,
were talking about the raven or the crow before, where somebody might be like, ah, Odin is watching me. I might be sitting there going, ah, they're surrounding a house, somebody's gonna die.
or,
That is the
it's winter and they're going south because it's cold
it's
here.
freaking cold. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is the universe interfacing with us in a way that we understand. So the symbology may mean something different to me than it does to you. And that I do believe imposter syndrome comes from I am comparing notes with somebody else, but I'm not taking into account that they are a different entity themselves.
I see that. I can see that. I took it in the other end.
Mm-hmm.
I I took it in the other aspect of imposter syndrome, and this is something we can all relate to, I believe, in some way or shape. New friend groups are a excellent example of this. Um, I am significantly older than a lot of my friends. They're in their 20s. I'm not. Not going into how old I am. Devi, don't say a word. But
My lips are sealed.
okay. The idea is that they want to go out, they want to go party, they want to have fun, and it's just like, cool, I'll go hang with them because those are fun activities. But now I'm like, I'm the old man of the group. I don't relate in that same manner. Are they even wanting me to be around, or am I just the old man? That's the imposter syndrome I get. Is that, am I good enough? Do I fit in?
Hmm.
Is this my path? And we run into that. You hear imposter syndrome a lot when doing something new in your life and your self doubt of it. But the most exciting things take the biggest leaps. Imagine the person who rode the first roller coaster. I guarantee he probably got to the top of the hill and started questioning every decision they have ever made. And then they went down the hill, and it was exciting. And now we have almost more roller coasters than people nowadays.
I mean, I do like a good roller coaster, not gonna lie.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. That's where I see imposter syndrome is that feeling of, am I doing right? Am I is this what I'm supposed to be doing?
Second
Maybe this
guessing
isn't for
yourself,
me.
not having that self belief. Honestly, I do believe it goes fully hand in hand with anxiety.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It really
I believe
does.
so.
And that maybe we can blame on coffee. Um, like
Do
the
not
copious amount.
blame my caffeine.
Maybe we can
Look,
blame that on copious amounts of coffee.
I know for a fact that you are working tomorrow. I
Yes.
will go to work. We will fight. Do not blame the caffeine. Caffeine is my friend.
But you
Did I
dukes
lose you?
up.
Oh, there you go. Oh, I was like, oh god, did I lose her? Oh no.
No, I'm cackling too hard.
Oh, got
Entirely
you.
too hard.
It's all good.
Oh
No,
my goodness.
it's yeah, no, anxiety is for sure a part of that. And dealing with those different social anxiety cues and whatnot,
Hmm.
for sure.
I mean, if we go into like just Wikipedia, just basic, it's a psychological occurrence in which an individual doubts their skills, talents, or accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Now, I will say, I even have this fear whenever I do readings sometimes because
Hmm.
there's always that societal pressure of psychics don't exist, magic doesn't exist, just like hammering down on you all the times, right? Um, and there are times where like I will see what I see and feel what I feel and I tell people, but then I sit there and I'm just like, am I being honest? And I know internally, yes, I am. I am absolutely being honest. It is just like that second guessing asshole in the back of my head that honestly needs to be beaten with a bat.
But I think that I think a lot of that asshole in the back of your head, I think that has a lot to do with society as a whole.
It really does.
Because it again, I use that example. Uh, Millennia ago, there was a scientist from Spain who said, "Hey, this is what's up," and everybody went, "No, you're wrong."
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you that if not him, then somebody else in that same field went, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm stupid. It's oh god, what did my mother used to say? My mother used to say, if enough people call you a donkey, it's time to put on a bridle. And for those of you who are not from the south, the bridle is the harness that goes around the neck of the donkey to pull carriage. So when you feel that you're wrong in that instant after following your gut, I think it's got a lot to do with society. Society telling you that, like you said, uh, divinity isn't true, or divination rather, isn't true. It's a false flag magic or whatever. F
Oh,
them.
absolutely.
F them, okay? Because
Absolutely. And that's the hardest thing to shirk. That really
yeah,
is one of like the hardest things to go with because you're raised in a specific way.
mhm,
Like I was raised Southern Baptist.
I'm so sorry.
Exactly.
Oof, woof.
Grandfather's a pastor of Church of Christ. Like we were shoved, the Bible was shoved down our throats our whole lives, and we were taught that women and children were seen and not heard. Like that's the experience. And I see things, and then I see those things happen in real life. And so it's
Yeah,
just like going back and forth, being like, okay, there's a door open in my head where I can receive information. But every time that I say something about it, I'm demonized. And I'll say, like, one of those imposter syndrome things that I am able to verify just in my life now is when I was 16 years old. I was
mm,
sitting on the couch, I was talking with my mom. I started zoning out and had a vision. And I hate calling them visions because it seems very inappropriate, but it is what it is. Um,
Raven Simone before
I
Raven
know.
Simone. That's a Raven.
I mean, it might have been happening simultaneously. I am 31, so
Oh,
yeah.
why did I put numbers out there?
No, they already know that. It's fine.
Oh, okay,
It's
cool.
fine. It's known. But
I'm older than you?
yeah, you didn't know that?
Sorry. No,
I know I'm a hag, but damn.
I
Um,
didn't. Well, I figured you were closer to my age, is what
well,
I
yes.
thought. I
No,
didn't. I
it's all
didn't
good.
figure it was. Uh,
But I
to
remember
know.
sitting there and zoning out, and then it was like I was looking from behind a piece of frosted glass, like like um think law school or lawyer office where it has like the frosted glass on those big heavy doors.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was
Yeah, I
like
know
I
what
was
you're talking about.
looking through that and I saw three girls behind that glass. Two of them looked nearly identical. One of them looked a little bit different, but I couldn't exactly tell because it was through the frosted glass. But I saw the hair color, I saw that they were girls, and I knew that they were mine. And I can tell you, and I believe you've seen my kids. I have three little
I
girls.
think you've seen showed pictures.
Yeah, I have three little girls. Two of them look nearly identical. One of them's just a little bit different. Like to the point where I can pull up pictures of two of them as a baby and it's really hard to tell them apart.
Oh wow.
Yes. But like that is one of those UPGs that I had that I was able to verify, and I can verify like every day now because I see them.
Yeah.
I see them, I know them, they are mine.
Yeah.
Um
Wow.
but obviously, like I had my first at 20, so it took years to be able to actually verify that for me. But I knew in my heart that I was going to have three little girls. Um, but that's one of them. I've had, the imposter syndrome sinks in, and then all of a sudden, it's like the universe sits there and smacks you on the back of the head and then gives you that verification through another person. Um, like I'll have a reading where I'm talking to somebody and then it's just like, okay, I'm seeing this, and they're able to verify what I am seeing in the moment that I'm seeing it. That way it's a complete back and forth and I am able to sit there and say, "Yes, this is real. This is reality. I am not crazy.
Yeah.
I have a door open in my head that a lot of people don't. And they have the ability
Okay.
to open the damn door. They just don't want to."
Yeah. I think it's where that line gets flirted between SPG and VPG, but it's still, like I said, that imposter syndrome, because you have that moment where you do those readings and you feel like in that instant, be it short or long, that it's not right, it's a lie. I'm this, that, or the other. A lot of it, I was thinking about this um, earlier into it, is a lot of these faith-based groups that we are a part of, regardless of what sect it is, Southern Baptist or polytheist or what have you.
Mhm.
A lot of times you seek for a patron, be it one or many, and you get these moments where it's like, did I make the right choice? That's where I had mine, and that's where I think, looking back, I can't remember if I had my imposter moment before or after my UPG,
That
but
I do believe would have been before because afterwards they confirmed it so hard with you
yeah,
and they were just like, "Nope, you're mine. I
yeah,
accept you.
I think
You are
that's what it
part of
was.
this."
But it was weird because, of course, I fell into this happenstance. A lot of it was centered around doing research because of the MCU and their involvement, and I was immediately drawn to Thor as my patron.
Hmm.
And my first thought was, oh man, I don't need somebody thinking that I chose this because I really like Chris Hemsworth. I don't, it's like
No, and Thor looks nothing like that.
he's
Oh my
he's.
god.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Chris Hemsworth is pretty, but I'm still a Ryan Reynolds man.
God damn it. 100%. 100%. Yes. Oh
That
my
was my
gosh.
imposter syndrome, and that's where I really first heard the term imposter syndrome because I brought it up into my Discord and I said, guys, like, is this a thing? Is somebody gonna think this? Because people are still narrow-minded. They're still pigeonholed.
Oh,
That
100%.
they don't want to see that there's other groups, especially where we live. We're in the buckle of the Bible Belt,
Oh, yes.
and they don't want to listen to what we have.
Oh, of course
You
not,
know,
because if it's not Jesus, then it ain't right.
yeah.
Um,
Well, and then but then you say, well, okay, my patron is Thor, and they're like, ah, you're a gigantic nerd. Comic books, video games, Dungeons and Dragons, and now you're saying you worship Thor? Okay, here's a picture of Chris Hemsworth. Jerk. Like, come on, bro. Like, man. And everyone
yeah.
knows that Matt Damon did a better Thor, okay? I'm just saying. That's a reference to Thor Ragnarok for those of you who are unindoctrinated.
Oh my gosh. But
Yeah.
yes. And honestly, we deal with this a lot because, like, I know this is actually a topic that Twisted is going to cover um, fairly shortly about like the big trend of like everybody is a witch now and it's just
Oh
like
my fucking.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Everybody's
Okay. Okay.
pagan, everybody's a witch,
Okay.
everybody is
Okay.
this, that, or the other, and it's just like, but I've
All right. This is the moment where
eh.
Benign Shanghai is a podcast. Okay. Listen, people. Listen. Okay. My friends, my family, my loved ones, people. If you want to go down that route, if you want to follow into paganry and you want to do witchcraft, please do it right. Please do your research. Don't just arbitrarily walk into a place and go, black clothes with a cat and pentagram on. I'm a witch. No, you're not. Yeah, you're a girl who went to Hot Topic in the '90s. Okay, stop it. Do the work. Put in the research because there are people out there who say, "Oh, I'm a witch. I'm a Wiccan. I'm a this." No, you're not. Um, you're upsetting those of us who actually do the work and who actually feel these ways, and you're causing chaos in the spectrum.
Oh, 100%.
You want to call yourself that to give yourself a title just until you can find that path, fine. But if you decide you want to wake up one day wearing nothing but all black, put on tuck shoes and trip pants that shout out to my Hot Topic kids from the early 2000s, put on that kind of
I wanted the
stuff and
trip pants so bad.
oh, I had two pairs. You already know. But if you want to go around with a black eyeliner and things like that, start listening to weird EDM trance heavy metal, fine. But don't call yourself a witch. Call yourself an emo kid like the rest of us.
Hmm.
Do the work. Open your heart. Take the time when you're in a good mental state and go down that road. If you just want to call yourself that because you're trying to find your path, fine. There's a video by, hell, who is it? Ocean Keltoy, that discusses that the terminologies through Norse polytheism, where it's pagan, Norse polytheist, and Azatru. They're all the same term.
Mhm.
but it's where you want to call yourself during your studying process. Fine. Just just do the damn work.
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
just I gather crystals. No, you picked up rocks off the street, Becky. Stop it.
Yeah, fucking Becky,
This is
stop it.
quartz. It exudes my energy. That's yellow cake uranium. Put it down. Sorry, I'm just look.
Yes.
I
Oh
grew
my
up
god, yes.
I grew up in the heyday of Hot Topic, back when Hot Topic was like the taboo shop to go to. And
Before
I
Hello
saw
Kitty
these
took
people,
over, but yes.
bruh.
Bruh.
I grew up in that heyday where like if you went to Hot Topic, you had issues, and we accepted you.
Like I've
People who
said
wanted to
before,
fit
my
in.
cousin used to be a
Oh,
manager of Hot Topic.
oh. Sorry, you said like the fake witch thing, and just my brain just went stop.
It makes it honestly makes your brain explode a little bit because people are just like, I picked up a set of tarot cards and I'm wearing all black and I got my nails done in a specific way and I am a witch. And it's like, okay, cool. What are
And
you
this
studying?
is my
Who are you
familiar.
talking to? It's like, oh, no, I've had a discussion about familiars and that makes me want to stab people. I'm sitting there going, no, that is not a familiar. Your pet is not a familiar. Do not ever put that
Congratulations.
on your pet. Don't fucking do it.
All right, well,
Oh.
hold on. Here's my soapbox. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah, congratulations. You're a fan of Bette Midler from the 2000s, okay?
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
I had that one saved. I was waiting. I was just like, let it die down, let it die down. Gah!
Stab. Yes.
It's Zachary Banks. No, it's not. Stop it.
No. No, I mean, you and I both know familiars are not of this world. They are not animals. They are demons, daemons, entities, fae, something else entirely besides what is in this realm. They may occupy a body of an animal to physically show themselves sometimes, but
Oh,
they are
this is
not your
interesting.
fucking pets.
Oh, this is interesting. All right, we're about to tangent right now. I don't believe that actually.
You don't? Really?
No, I'm a different way.
Okay, explain.
I feel that familiars are not um what's the term? I didn't want to say personified, but they are not I don't view them as creatures in
Hmm.
that sense. I feel that familiars are things that have been bonded to items. Let me give you an example. Um, hey, what's something you won't have in your house? It's a book. Starts with an N.
The Necronomicon?
Absolutely. Why do you not want that in your house?
Because it's stupid. I actually the funny part is I actually bought that shit for one of my friends when I was a teenager because he wanted it.
It's it's bonded. A lot of those are bonded with negative entities.
Well,
That
yes.
much like your dude by the crick who was messing with you, creeping on you in his bathrobe and coffee mug full of bourbon. But these items, these things, entities are bound to these items.
Hmm.
Um, I view familiar not in an animalistic sense or as a personification, more in the aspect of an intrinsic item. Um, my day genuinely is off if I do not have my Mjolnir.
Hmm.
If it is not on me, my whole day is weird. It won't be a bad day. It won't be a good day. It's just something's not right. As it's my familiar. I view it as a there are things that I've had in my house where I look at it and just go, you know what? You are causing a problem and I gotta get rid of you.
You
And they're
know
not
what?
creatures, they're items. That's
I
how I view
disagree with
familiars.
that because that definition I believe goes more towards a fetish. Um
Okay.
where a fetish is an object believed to have magical power to protect or aid its owner, an object of irrational reverence or obsessive devotion, you know, a rite or cult of fetish worshippers, like things like that.
Okay. I also find it in that same regard with these items that they are going out of their way to find you.
Yes.
That's how I feel it as the familiar end of it is that I even if I can't find it, I'll lose my damn car keys. I place my car keys in the same thing every day.
Hmm.
There's no reason I should ever lose my car keys. I'll lose my car keys. Guess what? I'm gonna find immediately before I find my car keys. My Mjolnir. It's to me that's how I personify it. But I think it's interesting. But you're right. I do believe it'd be technically more like a fetish rather than an
Yep.
actual.
Now, I can I can put my story of the Fae here as well because I have a bird feeder out in my backyard,
Mm-hmm.
and I use that to feed the squirrels and the birds and everything that's out there.
You
Um,
tell those squirrels to knock it
as
off. That is a bird feeder.
No, I purposefully have put a specific feed in there that also has like
Okay.
nuts for
All
them
right. All
specifically,
right. So
because I
they can
love my
come in.
squirrels and I love
They
my little
just
possums and
they
everything
gotta
like that.
they just gotta quit drinking before they come in. You know, they start
Fair,
rowdying up the place.
fair, you know.
I have a
But
problem. I have a problem with squirrels. Okay, I have a problem.
well, the thing is, I actually use that as an offering to the Fae of in my
Okay.
area, um, and they protect my house and help me, as long as I am offering them and their critters and things like that with food, they actually help and take care of me in a sense.
Okay.
And anytime I lose something, I look outside and that damn thing is empty. And I'm just like, okay, fine. I go fill the
Okay.
bird feeder, and within 30 minutes, whatever I lost, I will find. Like
Oh
I
wow.
can say you know those wireless earbuds, like the Samsung wireless
Yup.
earbuds, and you
Yup.
know how they have like the detachable earbud on them, like
Hmm.
the plasticky part or rubbery part.
Yeah.
That came off. I searched high and low. I could not fucking find it. I picked up everything under my desk, everything at all, and I'm just like, okay, okay, is the bird feeder empty? This
Mm.
literally happened last week. Bird feeder was
Oh
empty.
wow.
I go fill that thing up, sprinkle some around the yard. I'm like, I'm sorry. I took a long time. There you go. I come inside, not even 20 minutes later, I find it on the floor in a place
Wow.
I already searched. And I'm just like, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Damn. All right. Yeah. No. Me and squirrels have problems. Okay. We don't get along. Okay. They're
What do
like,
squirrels do to you?
you laugh. This is. I'm being serious.
I know you're being serious, but I seriously want to know what the
So
squirrels did to
years
you.
okay, so years ago, my wife and I we drove up to New York to go meet her family, and she's friends with a wonderful woman who rescues animals and rehabilitates them. A lot of times that they
Mhm.
are injured for whatever reason, and she rehabilitates them. And she had one uh, aptly named Psycho Baby,
Oh boy.
and we're just me. She's oh she's so dainty. She just psycho. We call her Psycho Baby because when she first wakes up, she bounces all around the cage before we that's her way of telling us that she's ready for her this that and that. Okay, cool. Everybody's petting on her and loving on her. I go okay cool. I go to reach forward and that little bastard chomped my finger
Oh.
so hard. I was like, you love everyone else except me. Okay, that's what's up. Okay. Came back around because I got to pet the fox and nobody else would. So
You know
what's
what?
up?
I, that would be the experience I would want. I was like, I could pet the fox. I want to pet the
Yeah,
fox. They're
he was
so
chill. He
fluffy.
was he was okay. All right, so she had two. She had a standard red fox,
Hmm.
and I think he was just getting over a broken leg or something.
Oh, poor baby.
Yeah, so he was in a small little carrier. I fed him some carrots. He liked it, and I got to pet him.
Hmm.
Very chill. She did have one. I don't think she has him anymore. I think he
Hmm.
finally passed on because this was like crap 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, apparently, and this is terrible, but people in parts of towards Canada and that sort of area.
Mhm.
They breed border collies with foxes
Do what?
because it gives them better fur. Two guesses why they'd want better fur.
For a coat?
Yeah. So she had one up there, and he was adorable. He was not like people couldn't go touch him and die, but he was very playful and he was gorgeous. He was silver and black, and he was on one of those dog run things. He's got like all the cables. He could just run around like a madman type thing,
Yeah.
and he was just so full of life and energy. But he was adorable. I wanted to pet him so much, but that you can see even from like 20 yards out. It's like that thing is more fluffy than the fluffiest cloud. I want it.
It's like, I will love you forever. It's so fluffy,
Like
I'm gonna die.
you hear it's like, well, they bred him with a border collie, and your first thought just like he's like, oh my god, why? And then you see him like, no, I get it, no, I get it, I get it, yeah.
I mean,
Like I didn't at first, but damn,
oh.
I spent $90 on my hair, and you got better hair than me. This is bull. It was chill up there. Yeah, squirrels and I don't get along, man. Squirrels and I don't get along.
You know what? That's perfectly fine. You'd be chill with the possum that comes around every now and again.
Yeah,
Um,
possums are dope, man. Me and
hell
them,
yeah.
me and them are chill.
Oh hell yeah, and those are such good signs. Cuz I've found that if anything, deities, spirits, things like that, they speak to me through signs and symbols like animals very very
Hmm.
frequently, and as soon as I say it, my ears start ringing really loud. Fantastic.
Nice,
I love it.
nice.
Um but yeah.
We are convinced that my wife has, you can call it Dr. Doolittle syndrome,
Mhm.
you can call it Disney Princess syndrome. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the animal is. It could be like a rabid pit bull. 3 seconds, and that thing is docile, chill, except for one annoying macaw. Seymour, that guy's a jerk.
I love macaws. I am a bird person, 100%.
No, you are a person. You just like birds. Bird person is a person from Rick and Morty.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Okay, he did become Phoenix person, but we're getting off topic there.
No, but um with all of, the animals and experiences and things like that, because honestly, I almost think that animals are like the most pure expression of the universe in a sense,
Okay.
because they're the ones that are untainted by people. Um
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That same kind of mindset. Yeah,
and so
I
like
can see that.
that seems to be the easiest way for spirit to like get my attention or kind of speak in a sense when I'm closing myself off or I'm off in la la land and they're not able to just sit there and do the whole thing of hi, you know.
Johnny, man, that bathrobe is older than both of us.
Jesus Christ. All right. Did you
That's
have
gonna be
any
her image every time she thinks about somebody just whispering anything. They're gonna whisper anything. They're gonna be like, "Hey, did you see the new movie?" And all she's gonna be thinking is some dude in a bathrobe with a coffee cup full of bourbon.
with like old ass slippers? I don't know
Yep.
why.
Oh
Old
yeah.
ass slippers and a receding
Has to
hairline,
be.
that's the horseshoe.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
oh fuck.
I can smell the mildew. Yeah, it's great.
Oh. Dude, it's like
Um,
Carl off of freaking, oh my god, what is that show?
Lampoon.
No, no,
I
no,
was
no, no,
thinking
no,
more.
no.
I
Like,
was thinking National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
no, I'm not thinking that one. I was thinking, oh my gosh, Adult Swim show,
Oh
Frylock,
yeah,
Meat
yeah. Aqua
Meatwad.
Teen Hunger Force.
Thank you. My brain could
Aqua
not think
Teen
of
Hunger. I
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
hate that show.
I watched it
I
as a
hate that show.
teenager. I
I
loved
hate
it
that show
so
for
much.
reasons that are not fitting for this podcast.
Fair enough.
It's more for one of these channels down here associated with Air Day. Yeah, one of those. Um, yeah,
No.
hate that show.
Oh my gosh. But, coming back full circle,
Yeah.
was there any other thoughts that you had on, SPG, UPG, VPG, or imposter syndrome?
I encourage anybody here. I'm sure anybody who listens to this is already doing these steps, but I encourage those that if you haven't, make the small efforts to not look for UPG, SPG, or VPG. Just make the efforts to open that communique. They will make themselves known when they need to. They are still there, regardless of what you see or don't see. Let's be real. A lot of us are set with horse blinders on in our day-to-day lives. So you might be asking for help or guidance or just, hey, just make sure I have a good day today. And they might be sending you a sign and you just don't see it. It's okay. Don't go hunting for the UPG, like I jokingly referred to doing earlier. Just talk to them. And for me, I stated that my patron is T.O.R, and through again more or less SPG with some of the groups I'm with, he's kind of viewed like a big brother. So when I need to talk to him, I talk to him like I would my actual older brother. My brother is 10 years older than me. So when I go to reach out, I talk to him in that same regard. So whatever your patron is, whatever your divinity set is, be it paganry, Wiccan, polytheism, monotheism, atheism, whatever it is, if you're looking to at some point have that kind of interaction at some point, just open that door. Just start the conversation. And anytime that you begin to feel that you don't fit, don't belong, um, or somebody tells you that you're wrong, fuck them.
Oh, 100%.
Use your gut, because in an infinite number of universes and paths and choices that could have brought you to any instance, your current path is the one you're on now. So there's obviously a reason. I encourage, if you're interested in learning something like that, look up the Web of Weird, and as far as mythology goes, and it's across multiple groups of theologies in which timelines are set and they're interwoven, and you're here because those that brought us into being wanted you here. So there's no reason to ever feel like you don't belong. If you don't feel like you belong, then you are literally in familiar company. Reach out to this Discord channel. There are dozens upon dozens upon dozens of people here who'd be more than happy. I'd be willing to state that I'd be more than happy to help bolster you up and remind you that you are loved and appreciated and that you are on the right path. And if maybe the path is not quite what you need, they'll help get you there. So don't let anybody tell you that what you're doing is wrong when it comes to what feels right in your heart and your gut.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. But absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and oh, I think I've exhausted what I had.
Think moving forward, I think I am going to take on that project I have discussed with you in the past.
Keep me updated
I
on
think
it.
so.
That
I
sounds
think so.
awesome. That yes, that excites me.
Because I'm just knowledgeable enough to know what I need to say. I know there's more smart people out there, so this will be a good bridge between. So I think I'll be working on some of that in the future. So as that project rolls along, I'll pitch it your way, and
Heck
we can
yeah.
help share ad revenue.
Oh, 100%.
And I suppose maybe I can bring you in on one or two. I mean,
I mean, if you wanna,
I
that's
I
perfectly
mean,
fine.
I am
hey,
running
I'm
a
here for
high
it.
profile. I mean, this recording lounge is okay. I mean, they did not have.
I'm sorry we didn't get your cappuccino in a timely manner.
Look, they didn't even get me a cappuccino. They got me an americano. First of all, okay, and the green room is nice, but like, like what's up with the chair? Like, come on. Like,
That's old
I
Krusty.
told
Don't
you.
insult old Krusty. You can't do
And I
that.
Well, old Krusty's reminding me of an old man in a bathrobe with a coffee cup full of bourbon.
Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. It was a lot of fun having you on.
This is a blast. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
I will definitely be reaching out for another one. You know, if you got an idea, hit me up. But this is Devi with the Opener Sorcery and our great friend BenignFool. And if he's coming out with a podcast, we will have the link below. But we will see you next time, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.